Oh, hello there. I'm Jeffrey Bützer. This is the Day for Night film show podcast thing. I don't know if it's a podcast because you're looking at me. I don't know how stuff works. Today I am talking to Julia Kugel from the Coathangers, and she has a new solo album out. There it is, Derealization. We're gonna talk about movies because she's probably done 100 interviews about her record. We're gonna talk to her. So come on in. Welcome, Julia.
Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing?
How
Are,
am
are
I
you in
doing?
your? Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Are you in your pajamas too?
Yeah, but yes, it's the evening for me. I like to be in my lounging clothes, my lounging.
Yeah, I always wear this nifty bathrobe. I'm trying to what do you call it? Make it my thing.
Oh, like a
But it's
signature
really I
look.
just yeah, it's really I just wear this at night, and I don't like to put something on. Um, you're a unique guest because I don't really know you very well. Everyone else I kind of know. I don't even know if you know who I am. I mean, you do now,
Yeah,
but
you're.
but I the reason I know you is because your bandmates Stephanie and I think Candace, your former bandmate, were the first two people I didn't know that would come see my band play.
Oh.
Early on, everybody at your shows.
Mm-hmm.
I met them on MySpace.
No way.
Yeah, and so then in 2006, whenever you guys put out that coat hangers thing, I should have got it out. The one in the felt.
Yeah.
Um, they handed me that at a show at Masquerade, and yeah, so I've known you guys since the EP.
That was a time. We were
Yeah,
those
so I've
two.
been around you. I just don't think I don't think I've ever really talked to you.
Maybe we have.
Yeah, I mean we've been in rooms together because we have all our mutual friends and stuff. But
It
uh,
just took for me to move to California for us to finally hang out.
yeah, it's all good.
Online.
Yeah, it'll be fun. The so what I always ask people, do you remember the very first movie you ever saw, like either at home or in a movie theater?
I think it was Crocodile Dundee.
Really?
I I was like I'm from Belarus, so it was like the first I guess American for me movie that I got to see in a theater, and I was like fascinated.
Did you like it?
Yeah, of course I liked it.
I don't remember much of it. I just remember just a knife joke. That's all I remember from it.
Yeah, the hat. It was very like I mean completely different than what I'd ever seen before.
Have you gone back and watched it as an adult?
Oh yeah, it has
Uh,
a has a very special place in my heart for sure.
Because I went back and I remember really really loving Beetlejuice, and people think I'm in love with Winona Ryder. I just really like her because of Beetlejuice, and ever I watched everything she was in since I was 8 years old, and I don't really like Beetlejuice anymore. Like I went back and watched it, and it was okay, but like her other movies, I think are objectively great, like Heather's and stuff. But that's one that when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, this was better when I was 10. I don't really think I like this anymore.
You probably built it up,
Yeah,
in your head to be greater than it ever could be since you've
I
been
don't know.
ideal.
I mean, I did that with RoboCop, and I went back and watched that, and I thought it was better than I remembered. But Beetlejuice objectively did not hold up for me. I was just, yeah.
Yeah,
What was,
live and grow.
yeah, I realized last week I'm not very nostalgic with my movie taste. Like, do you know Ian Deaton? He's like an Atlanta musician.
Probably, maybe, yeah,
You
probably. I know
think
some
you do?
Ian's. Last names are hard.
Yeah, I don't know what band you would know it from, but his favorite movie's Clue, and it's totally wrapped up in like nostalgia.
Yeah,
Whereas like, I don't have childhood favorites really. I don't like stuff like that. Like I don't. It's not usually wrapped up with memory.
for me, it's like my cousin Vinny, 48 Hours, and like things that my mom was obsessed with movies when we first moved to the States. So there was a Farmar, and they
Hmm.
had 99-cent rentals, and she rented like everything, like literally everything in there. So from not having TV or movies to like having everything when we moved here, I got a crash course in 1990. Everything that came out around 1990, I've
So that would
seen.
have been like Hand That Rocks the Cradle
Oh yeah,
and Free Jack. And you remember
Like,
that with Mick Jagger?
no, I don't actually.
It's Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez. I think that came out that year. Yeah,
Remember the working bros or something? Men at Work,
Men
where
at Work.
they're like
Yeah,
Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen are
I just
brothers.
I just remember that year around because that's before my sister had her baby, and I remember going to this theater that now I live down the street from, but it used to be far from us when I was a kid because I moved around in Georgia. And I go there all the time now. And I remember that year going to a lot of movies. And I remember like Free Jack and Lawnmower Man and
That's a
uh,
scary one, huh?
yeah,
Lawnmower Man.
those are boy movies.
Yeah, it's
Um,
too scary. I'm not a scary movie person.
what was your introduction to Godard?
Um, like my mom is very artsy and we've always watched foreign movies, so I think probably I saw something when I was younger. But um I just like his movies are so confusing in some ways, and then so like the timing also, it's so surreal. So I that's the thing about it, like I couldn't figure it out. As opposed to American movies, which are so straightforward, and like I had like an influx of that. And then when I saw, I don't know, I can't remember any particular date. I'm not like that. I don't remember dates or years or anything, but I just remember being fascinated by it. I don't know what I saw first.
Oh, yeah, I think so I kind of got into foreign movies in my 20s. I'd kind of like gone through all the people, Scorsese, Kubrick, and Woody Allen, and like all those people that from the 70s and 80s that everybody
Mhm.
loves. And then my best friend got me really into like foreign stuff, and so I watched Breathless, and I honestly didn't like Breathless very much. I'd seen other foreign movies, but that was my first probably new wave movie. And then the more I watched of his work, I got like a little more into it. I still have issues with like as a modern film watcher, the fact that his movies are about making a movie. They're always like they're constantly reminding you you're watching a movie, which can be fun, like in the one we watched. But sometimes I think it's really like off-putting, and it like takes you completely out of the story in a bad way. Um, but I don't think that that's how they're meant to be viewed all the time either. Like this one we watched, Made in USA. It's one that I suggested to you because it's one of that '60s series, like that run in the '60s he did
Yeah.
that I hadn't seen. And I don't know if you've seen Weekend. Have you seen that one?
No.
So it's got cannibals in it, and they're like in a traffic jam most of the movie. Um, it's sort of along the same line with the color palette.
I I think that the reason that he does that he breaks the wall all the time, is because you're always going to be part of the experience. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a story to observe, it's a story to like be it in some cases irritated by, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of like it's so yeah, I just remember I did take a film class in um college, so I think that's how I got introduced to thinking about film,
Mm-hmm.
in like an artistic way. But yeah, I like this movie. It's difficult to watch. It's like
It,
it's almost work, there's a payoff. It's beautiful. The thing about it is beautiful, but I'm always trying to understand what it is. And it's
mhm.
like you have to read it, so you can't really see. I wish I was French. Maybe
Yeah,
the
you know how people. This is like the most Norm Macdonald thing I'm ever gonna say. You know how people have like that gaydar. I have this like opposite of gaydar. Where no, I'm just kidding. I have this thing where like I completely don't pick up on political meanings in movies. I really like spaghetti western, and they're all very like Marxist. And I have to get people to explain to me why they're Marxist films. Because I just don't have a good grasp on politics in film, and his films are very political. And that's
Yeah.
another reason I don't always connect with his movies. This movie is a retelling of The Big Sleep. Which have you seen The Big Sleep with Lauren Bacall and Bogey?
No, I haven't.
it's one of the best, like, of those. I'm not a big fan of those old Hollywood, like, where everybody says cool stuff every 3 seconds, but Lauren Bacall is like hilarious, and they just go back and forth, and they switched it where Anna Karina is the detective in this one. It's not like loosely based on. It's like literally, it's like a retelling. It even says on the Wikipedia page, it's a retelling of The Big Sleep, and The Big Sleep is famous for, like, when you're done watching it, you're like, the crime is solved, and you're still kind of like, wait a minute, because, like, there's so many threads going on and so many characters that it's based on a Raymond Chandler book. It's like super confusing, and this film did exactly that. Where when they solved everything at the end, I was still like, okay, like that wasn't really what the movie was about to me.
Yeah, I had to remind myself that it was like a mystery of some kind, because they were just it kind of reminded me of that movie, P.T. Anderson's movie, the
Unstrung Love,
no, like the very last one. He got kind of a lot of shit for it.
Licorice Pizza. Oh, Inherent Vice.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're kind of like in it, and you're like, what's really happening? But
yeah.
it's
It's not.
like, I think he was. I felt like the movie was very political, and I was
Oh, it
trying to
is.
understand all the meaning behind it. They're talking about, I think, consumer culture a lot, and like this shift they felt was happening with, like, and all the maybe I'm projecting from like my personal experience lately, but like, just about capitalism and what that does to the person. And there was some things I wanted to write down because there were quotes that felt like, but I didn't. I was gonna rewatch it, but
It's pretty short too. It's like an hour and 25 minutes or something. It's his whole run of '60s movies I enjoy. I've always said, like, the relationship, the greatest Hollywood relationship is the camera and Anna Karina. Like, I think she's one of the most, like, magnetic actresses. Um,
yeah.
you almost forget how good she is, because I don't mean it in a superficial way, just that she's beautiful. She is attractive, but she just has this relationship with the camera that was so perfect for what Godard wanted to do. Because his films, especially this one, I mean, it's if you're going to assign, like, a genre, I mean, they're like pop art films. I mean, this one, the whole time you're watching it, it's like bold reds and yellows and greens, and or blues, yellows, and reds, and like they look like Warhol paintings, and like, it's one of those movies that you can put on at a party and just look at it and have people walk by. It's a really nice looking movie. Um, and yeah, I found it almost distracting, like how cool everybody looked in the movie, where, like, it was like hard to keep up with.
Did you also notice, like, and I don't know if like how it glitches, it like repeats, the scene repeats all the
Hmm.
time. It was just so like, it's disarming. And also then it draws your attention to that thing, and you think, should I be really paying attention to the way she put on her lab coat, like the woman with the doctor that she interrogates or whatever. It's like, it's so beautiful and captivating in its oddness, because it like breaks all the rules. I guess I've just been watching a lot of like Game of Thrones and stuff, and everything, is so like fluid, and it's meant to just make it so easy for you to watch it. Whereas
Yeah,
this is just like, you're almost, I felt like it was very interactive with the colors, and like is so captivating, besides
yeah.
being so beautiful, like that, even that bar scene where the guy's making these, like the ceiling is hanging from the lamp, sort of
Oh,
poetic.
yeah, talking about how language doesn't really mean anything, and
Yeah. And then they're just like, and they're the way they're doing it. And you could tell, like, I feel like she was actually drinking whiskey because she was trying not to get drunk, and I felt like everyone was forced to be in the moment, and that it was like kind of voyeuristic in some ways, because it doesn't feel, it feels like staged, but also that you're looking in on something special
yeah, yeah.
happening. And she's like going back and forth and just staying like snaking around, staying in the frame, but always saying something like weird and witty, and a lot of mental tennis. They just like go back and forth. You have to.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is written because I haven't read his screenplays. Like I've read some people's screenplays. I don't know how much of that is written and how much is. I'm not a Godard expert. Like I like him, but again, like I like certain movies more than others, and I have to be in the mood. Whereas like Ozu or Birdman, I can kind of watch anytime because they're so. I don't know. I don't. How do I put it? I don't know. I like what he does. I don't always connect with it, I guess. And I know you're not. It's not always meant to. It's supposed to be like jarring. I will say for modern films, I don't like when people mimic his style and try to make really jarring confrontational films because I think we've hit a point where we have Tim and Eric for 15, 20 years. We have like you flip on TV and like commercials are just weird. Like
Yeah.
Skittles commercials are just surreal and strange. And I don't know that films doing that same thing is having the same effect it did in like the 60s. Um, and so I love experimental art. I always say that you as a songwriter too, I think that every song and every movie and every piece of art should be experimental in terms of you should never just be complacent and be like, I know how to write a song, so I'm going to write a song. Or I know how to make a movie, so I'm going to make a movie. I think you should always try to do something exceptional with everything you do.
Yeah, I think
I mean, you specifically, not.
it's.
I'm just kidding.
I think now we live in such a Google like society where you can like research and find inspiration, and so that those specific things you can see someone saw a Godard film and they mimicked it. It's so obvious. Whether back then there wasn't any of that. So like if you made something like that you made that, film was just starting to like really blossom. So I think that's why like mimicry now, it doesn't come off the same. You could tell with music, with art. I mean, how many Basquiat's wannabes can we really have?
Right.
Because everyone saw Basquiat and said, "Oh my God, I can do that." It's like, well, that's not the point. He did that, So
it's funny you said what you just said. It's funny because I remember in the early 2000s, I've gone through phases. I'm not a very snobby film watcher, but I've gone through my phases, and I remember around the time when Criterion and Netflix, when everybody just had access to everything, I was getting sick of new films referencing old movies because I was like, yeah, we can all watch them now. Yeah. And then I caught myself watching a 90s movie, Living in Oblivion with Steve Buscemi, and they walk into their apartment and there's an Andrei Tarkovsky poster. And I was like, rolled my eyes. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is like 95. Like half the audience wouldn't have got that back then. Like now every film geek in the world, Tarkovsky is as, ubiquitous as like Kubrick now. But at the time, like that would have been really obscure and cool to say that you like Tarkovsky in '95. And I try to not be like that, but definitely have my phases. I know you're more of a reader. Do films ever influence your songwriting?
Yes, I think like I've it was a film. It was some film I watched, and it like influenced this paper cutout song that I wrote because it said they were talking about acting in the film. It was like actually, and they said we're like paper cutouts, like that's what actors are basically. And I thought that was a very interesting way of putting it because the director kind of places them where they go.
For a while, I was fascinated. Oh, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, that's it.
For a while, I was fascinated what different directors had to say about actors because I don't really understand acting, and I'm fascinated by it. And I worked with actors finally this year because I did a play that I wrote. But
nice.
it was really fun. Hitchcock, had said they were like cattle or something, Buñuel said they're just cattle. You just put them where you want them to, and just keep poking them until they say the line right. And then Hitchcock was like, "No, I'd call them cockroaches." And then what's it? Peter Greenaway. I don't know if you know him. He's a really snobby British director. He did The Cook, the Thief, The Wife, and Her Lover.
Okay. British snobby, got it. British snobby, got it.
Yeah, well, he's like his daughter has come out and talked about how he's actually like autistic because like he's just very strange. But I saw him one time doing a lecture, and an actress stood up and started talking to him, and he was like, "Literally, all you have to do is learn your lines and pretend the camera's not there. That's what an actor's job is." And I like that I like reduction. You know, when people reduce
Yeah,
something, and as mean as he was being, to some degree, like that is a lot of acting. Is like, I mean, there's more to it, but you do have to like train yourself. I was talking to actors that they have to train themselves not to think about the camera. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah.
Because
I no, it is that, but it's that basically, but it's so hard to get to it, you know? It's so hard to like pretend that someone's not watching. Just
yeah, and we were talking
it
about
is.
Karina about this movie. It's funny because a lot of people, you know, you'll say like he's this generation's Hitchcock, she's this generation's Katharine Hepburn. I don't think that there is a person right now that fills Karina's shoes. And like I said, she's not like I don't mean to play it off like she's just this like beautiful woman that's just there, but she just has this like she has like an Anna Karina presence in every movie she's in. I mean, she did some movies where she just was like a nun and stuff, where she did more like less physical acting, where it was more just
Yeah.
acting. But she always just she has like a silhouette and everything with her hair, and like she just it's so different from I can't compare it. I can't think of anyone modern that does what she does.
Because she just is. It's
Yeah,
just like her every time, you know? Who is like that?
I don't think we have them.
I don't know. You know, they don't. I don't feel like there's been space made for like really cool art films anymore because it's all so like box office driven. If there are, I haven't seen them. I've seen some cool documentaries, like, but not really any cool. Yeah, I would. I'd love to watch it. I love that shit, but maybe there's just no outlet. It's kind of like independent music. It's like trying. You have to know. You have to like find it. You know, but not.
I'm not too into music like you are. Like I'm a musician still technically, but I am more of like a movie guy. So like I'm like the opposite. Like I can't keep up with bands anymore. And my son's 13, but he's like only into hip hop. He's almost 13, and so I'm hoping that they're going to be like my window into like what's actually going on. But with film, there are a lot of you got to look for them. But yeah, there's like this lady Anna Lillian Poor. She did a movie called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night or something like that. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
It's like this Iranian vampire sort of like it almost looks like a Jim Jarmusch movie. And then there's this guy Rick Alverson I talk about almost every week that he does these really strange like almost anti comedies. He works with like comedians. Like he did one with Neil Hamburger, and he did one with Tim Heidecker, and he did one with like Jeff Goldblum, and they're like really dead serious like weird art films. But yeah, there's several people I really like right now. Joanna Hogg, she's like a lady out of England, and I'll seriously like send you some list of some stuff you should watch because there are people doing like really interesting, like really creative things. Just I'm a little underwhelmed with the A24 stuff that everyone else does backflips over. I think they put out really good stuff, but I'm gonna get killed for saying that. It's not that I don't like A24. It's just that like they have this brand of putting out like weird movies, and I think they're like 2 out of 4 are pretty good.
Well, at least they're doing that because so many
Yeah,
people are putting out super lame, horrible, horrible shit. So like, uh, yeah, I salute people that at least try to not make commercial ass, whack ass, um, watered down stuff. People that aren't trying to make it. Although I don't know, maybe they're whatever, but I just see so much. I mean, especially living, I think here, there's just so many things going on that kind of are lame.
what's the
Maybe
last
not.
movie besides this that you watched?
Um,
You remember?
I honestly, my memory is so like not. I would never. I never like really choose to watch movies. I watch Phantom Thread. That's the last movie I
You
saw
saw
in
that?
theater. Yeah,
That was in 2017 or something. That was a long time. You like it?
That's when theaters were open. Yeah, that's the last movie I saw in a theater. Maybe I saw Star Wars too, but like that's the movie. Like I remember coming from that movie and going like, oh wow. And then I love movies you think about and you like
Mhm.
figure out later. It's like, that was a beautiful
Yeah,
movie.
my wife isn't the biggest fan of Paul Thomas Anderson. I have a master poster right there. He's like, some of his movies are some of my favorites. She really liked Phantom Thread. I liked it a lot too. It didn't hold up like where I wanted to watch it over and over, like some of his stuff. I like how funny it is on the second viewing because it's so wry and like and it solved the problem he's had with like being. I'm not trying to sound like the internet, but he's so male driven. Like his films are so male. Like The Master, There'll Be Blood. They're so like they're manly movies with like mostly men characters, and he finally kind of solved that and like had the all the heroes of the film women because it's a sister and his like new love in it, which I thought was cool.
Mhm.
I wanted to see if he was capable of writing a very good feminine kind of story, and I think he did a good job.
Yeah, it was brilliant because it also had a certain like bite to it. It wasn't
Hmm.
like it. It showed that we all have those aspects, the feminine, the masculine, and the um, the power, because she had a lot of power.
Yeah, you know what? You know? Do you know what it was based on?
Uh I maybe knew, but I
Uh,
don't
well,
recall.
it's like based on like his experience with being like a very overworking guy. Like he's just very obsessed, and he's like a really
Mhm.
hard worker. And he got sick, and it like slowed him down, and he became like more tender, as his wife Maya Rudolph said. She was like, "You're actually like sweet right now, and it's nice." And they joked that she was going to start poisoning him to keep him sick, so she could like have him like that every once in a while. And a lot of the dirty humor was written by what's his name, Daniel Day Lewis. Like making his name Woodcock was his idea. Like I thought that was funny that Daniel Day Lewis was like, "I'm gonna put cock in the name," and like
Dude,
that's very him.
I I love P.T. Anderson. Actually, my husband and I were both extras in Inherent Vice.
Oh,
We're in the
really?
boat scene, yeah. We're the hippies walking around. But
I'll look for you.
yeah, it's very brief. Um, but I think he's really making some you know some interesting things, and then
Yeah, we
on
talked.
like the big scale where people are giving him money.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about him. We've done two shows on him because last week we did The Master, and then I had a film expert in Canada. He's a film scholar. We talked about Punch Drunk Love. Um,
What
so
it-
we've covered my two favorites. Did you see the newest one, Licorice Pizza?
No, I haven't. It's got
You guys gotta watch it. It's really good.
yeah. It kind of feels like it'll be good. It's very. I like the way he kind of has California vibes all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah. I think you'll like it. I enjoy it a lot. Well, man, what was I gonna say? Another movie I think you should watch before I forget. We recommended was it's sort of the Godard style, but it's by Jacques Rivette. It's this movie called Celine and Julie Go Boating. But if you're a short attention span person, you'll need to watch it like in sections because it's really long. It's ridiculously long. But it's do you like that movie with Roseanne Arquette called Desperately Seeking Susan with
yeah,
Madonna?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It, that movie's like loosely based on Celine and Julie Go Boating, but
Oh,
that movie's like a Godard kind of movie about these two women who kind of like switch personalities halfway through. It's very like weird, but it's a comedy. I feel like you would really like it. Kind of from talking to you.
yeah, dude. I'll check it out. Celine and Judy go boating. I
Yeah,
have
I'll
to
send you.
try to remember that. Maybe I'll bother you on
No,
email.
I'll send you a link to it. Yeah, it's. I think it would be up your alley because it kind of reminds me of Godard. Did you watch like a lot of French New Wave other than Godard, or like did you watch Francois Truffaut's movies or like Eric Romer or Agnes Varda?
I haven't. I mean, okay, I don't know what I've watched because I've watched a lot of things in like non-intentionally where I go and I pick them and I watch them, but like I'll go
You forget
uh
the name.
yeah, like seriously, I don't remember names of towns. I don't. I'm like very, very bad about that. But I do. So maybe not the best for discussing specific references and whatnot. But I should have written down all the things I've seen. But like I said, my mom, like I watched a lot of Italian. When we moved over here, we lived in Italy because we were refugees. So we lived in Italy for a while and Austria for a while. And like, so I watched a lot of Italian movies and like just foreign movies as a child and all through. As an adult, like I really started paying attention to all the different things about them after I went to like, you know, college and had someone explain to me all this stuff because I just sort of took it as other people's realities, you know, like I didn't dissect it. That's kind of one of the things that is like cool and also like, I don't know, confusing because when you're just experiencing it as a reality and stuff, I just really relate more to like that kind of way of thinking of the slowness of things, like that life is slower than it is in American movies. So like
I think it's like a more honesty to it than I don't hate Spielberg, but like the music and the cues like leading you in a movie, like telling you what to is not very enticing to me. Where I like being confused. Like I like this movie because I came away like having to, being like, man, am I dumb? Like
I thought that too. I was like, damn, I'm usually like feel like.
And I kind of know The Big Sleep really well, and so I was thinking like I would just kind of know the plot, and I still was like, oh man. But I like David Lynch. I like confusion. I don't like it's a little more real to me, as strange as that sounds. Like there's an honesty and surrealism sometimes that if it's done well. Not that this was a surreal film. I'd say if anything, this was like, I don't know, impressionistic or something. I don't know. It was nothing really out of the ordinary happened other than like talking about the audience and things like of that nature. But
well, it was weird. It was odd that she was the detective. You know, that I think that was really cool how he like armed her and she was the one solving the crime and all the, I really enjoyed the way he sort of switched that. It was like very empowering. I think that's what he was saying about America. It's like very empowering and yet it's like very confused. And like the Richard Nixon, the Robert McNamara references and like Vietnam War and like he was saying something, but like I felt like I was too stupid to get it. Like if I maybe had lived in 1968 or 67 or like I would have gotten all the references that they were making to like the political situation and who were considering heroes and how it just felt like there's a lot more in there. And I felt like every like still and every color probably meant something,
I don't think that hard about it. About the colors and stuff. Because like color theory and things kind of bore me. Like whenever people explain to me the color palette of a movie and why, I don't know. I like because it's supposed to have a psychological effect where you're not supposed to be aware of it. So to kind of understand it to me is like learning a magic trick. So I don't like to look into that. As far as cultural clashes, the country I have the hardest time with, and I love films from Japan, but some Japanese movies, the culture is so lost on me. Like I like this movie. I like this movie. I know they're a lot easier with how do I put it, like bodily fluids and things, and culturally they're different than we are, and even than Europe. There's this movie I really love called Warm Water Under a Red Bridge, and it's about how this woman just like fills up with water, and she has to like steal, and she has to constantly do bad stuff to try and leak it out, or else it'll all just kind of explode when she has like a sexual experience. And it's not like a filthy movie; it's a comedy. And so, like, she meets this guy, and she's like, "You got to come home with me right now." And like, it's not it's not an erotic scene. It's not explicit, but you just see like water just explode, and like it's meant as like a comedic effect. But I'm like, that movie would never come out here. I mean, this was from like 2001. It's not that old, and I'm just like that. This movie was all anybody would talk about if it came out. And in Japan, it's just like another comedy, and there's just it's not just the sexual stuff, but there's just a lot of references in it that I don't understand, and yeah.
It's a whole. Have you been to Japan?
No, I've been to China. I've never been to Japan.
It's so unique. So I think their perspective is understandable because their history and the culture is so unique. Yeah, really, really strange stuff coming out of there.
Yeah.
But that's I think that's what's so cool. I mean, now more than ever, I'm just grateful that we live in a place that we can have so many differing opinions and differing expressions artistically. Like they're like it's like who thinks of that? Like that's such a weird. Someone was looking at a balloon. Like where did that even come up with that idea?
That's what I mean. I don't know if it's like maybe
Amazing.
based on some like Japanese folklore, or like I have no idea, because like I remember as a kid seeing this Japanese cartoon where these raccoons had like giant testicles, and they would pull them out and like other raccoons would sit on them, and I was just like, Mom, should I be watching this? Like it seems so like filthy as an American kid, because like I'd have to cover my eyes during Top Gun when
Oh,
when,
relax.
no, I'm talking about, yeah, no, I'm talking about as a child. I'm not now. It doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
but you had balls. Raccoons have balls, and
Yeah, but that.
it's pretty good. I think you should let your kids watch that.
Oh no, I'm not talking about not letting. I'm saying when I was a kid, I was shocked by it.
Yeah, which is
I'd let my
cool.
kids do it.
It
I'm not.
probably shaped your sense of humor a bit because you were like, "Whoa, that's like really funny," like, in an odd way. I think, yeah, it probably
It would
made
just be
you
shocking to me because my mother was so like strict and stuff with that kind of stuff at first, and so that's why like I hadn't even seen like sex scenes and stuff, and so I was like, whoa. I mean, it was when I was pretty young, but I just mean like stuff like that, like even at a young age. Um, yeah, no, my kids they're allowed to laugh at testicles. I don't want. There's plenty of that around here.
I, it's just it's cool. Like, you know, I it's you probably watch a lot more stuff. So for me, it's just like an adventure every time I see something, and hopefully, it's not something that's just like scarring. I really don't like things that are like violently scarring.
No, I don't
That
either.
like, I don't need more anxiety, but things like that where it's just weird. Weird is okay. Weird is like
Yeah, there has to be some humor. That's why I don't. Do you like David Lynch's movies?
yeah.
I mean, they're horrific, but there's so much humor that I can get through them. Like Fire Walk with Me is like a straight up horror movie, and it's like very upsetting, but there's jokes, so I can make it. I need jokes. Where there's
Yeah.
jokes, there's humanity. Um, yeah, it's funny you were talking about like I'm probably older than you quite a bit, and like so I went through that phase of like back when everything was underground, and you would have a friend with a VHS of Eraserhead, to all of a sudden everyone being able to watch everything,
Yeah.
and I stand by that being better. I don't think that there should be like I don't think people should have to earn the right to watch anything. I think you should be able to go on YouTube and watch surrealist films and news footage. But one of the first times it was really funny to me was there's this guy I met, and if I wrote him as a character in a screenplay, nobody would believe. Everyone would say it was too over the top. But I don't know how you would describe this type of person. He was a white person that was very into hip hop. He was like a very word up guy with like he would wear like huge hats. It's like 2003 or four, and he talked like somebody out of a movie, like Marky Mark. And I had worked hard to like obtain all my film knowledge over the years, and I sought out stuff. And I met him, and he's like 18, and he's like going on and on about Godard and how he likes Truffaut better because he's like more honest, and he knew all about Fellini. And at first, I thought it was like a joke, like somebody just fed him a couple things to tease me because I was like the film. It was at a movie theater, like because he was like, "Yo, man," he's like, "Yo, B, I heard you in the movies," and like, "Yeah, man, you like Fellini and all that." And then like he was really like that, like he was like a super big film nerd, but like but he was like super word up, and like it was just so funny. And I remember he read my script and he gave it back to me with like a bunch of good notes. Like he was like a really smart dude, and he was only like 19 or something. But then I was like irritated. But then later I was like, that's kind of cool though that like it took me years to
Dude,
learn.
this is the thing that makes me hopeful for the future of the world, is because people are learning this shit earlier. They don't have to wait. They can like, and you know how we were hungry for it, and they have it, and they can like see all this stuff and make wiser decisions than we ever could. So I also understand. I have that same thing with music, like when Urban Outfitters came around and started selling everything, that was the worst. Urban disturbance is what I call them. But in some ways, it's a good thing. And when I see a 12-year-old talking to like more intelligently than me, I'm like, damn, we're gonna be okay.
You want them to be better. Did you ever have that experience of like spending way too much on like a double CD or a record and then not really liking it, but you like tried so hard? Like I bought mine was Soundtrack for the Blind by Swans, because everyone's like, "Oh, you like Birthday Party? You need to listen to Swans," and it's like their most abstract album, and I don't like ambient music at all. And so I put it on. It's like 3 hours of like, and I was like, "Well, let me find something in here that I like." I bought it. Did you ever have that happen?
Um, uh, maybe a Sid Barrett record. It was like, oh, is there a song on here? Oh, but that I don't know.
I always thought that was just like a funny thing, because you would have to sometimes just blind buy stuff because we couldn't listen. I remember when my son's first video got the headphones, it was so exciting because I was like, oh, I don't have to waste money anymore. Because I several times I bought albums that looked cool, and then I was like, oh, this is awful. Well, we're almost out of time. You have a new record out, and I'm sure you've done a lot of interviews about that. So I'll post one of those or something, so you don't have to talk about. But how did that come about?
I wanted to have complete control over something, because I haven't like another project called Soft Palms with my husband, and I have the Coathangers, and I used to release some solo stuff, and I just wanted to like have the final word. It's I love collaborating, but sometimes you just want to have that, and that's what I did, and it was awesome. And then I locked myself in the studio and did that, and then when I got out, I was like so sick of myself. I was like, I need a friend. So I think it's good. I kind of go back and forth between really wanting to work with people and really wanting to stay away from people.
I'm the opposite. I started out working as like a 4-track one-man thing where I just did all these home recordings, and then when I did first get a band, they just kind of like, or was in a band, we kind of at first learned all my songs, and then we started sort of writing. And so now I'm always like excited when somebody wants to write with me, because I did my own thing for so long that I really love collaboration now, because like I had it my way for most of my life and I didn't get very far. So it's like, but yeah, that's exciting. I haven't heard any of it yet. I'm gonna check it out. I didn't have time today because my car died.
Sure. No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm very, very
I think I've heard like the short little clip. I just haven't listened to like, is it all out right now?
It's all out. It came out on Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
And all the songs are rather short. It's not like it's 10 songs, like 35 minutes. I'm really, really happy to have the opportunity to do that. It's very important for me. It was like a feeling.
Yeah. Are you doing many dates for it, or is it just around West Coast?
I'm actually I played one. I throw a festival here in Long Beach, a music festival. So we had we played that, and Soft Palms is going on tour October 18th with Black.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your recommendation? You have a book recommendation this week. Is it first?
Yeah, it can it's pretty stressful out there right now, and it's really important to laugh. So this is the book Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh yeah.
And it's always by my bedside, and whenever, like, I've already read it twice this year because Vonnegut has such a way of looking at the world from like zooming out and laughing at everything. Everything's fucking hilarious. So I highly recommend it. It's such an easy read, and it's just layers and layers and layers and layers, and he's genius.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I know Vonnegut though. Man, I wasn't going to recommend a book, but since you said that, I don't know if you've read this, but you know Charlie Kaufman, right?
I've never read Charlie Kaufman.
Well, but you know him. He did like Being John Malkovich and that. He wrote this book called Antkind, and it's basically like look how big it is. It's huge.
Yeah,
it's like Kurt Vonnegut wrote like an 800-page Norm Macdonald joke. It's like it's got like a Vonnegut pension kind of feel, like just the how complex it sort of is in some ways. But it's one of the funniest books I've ever read. I wasn't going to recommend that, but when you said that, everyone should read it. I don't read fiction. I've read it twice.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
read.
For me, because he's like my soul brother. Where like every reference he makes, I get, and like I don't know, he's like one of the artists I relate to the most. And I'm not a big fiction reader unless it's really funny. I mostly read nonfiction. And yeah, I plowed through that thing twice. It came out like 2 years ago. That was my film recommendation is I think I've already mentioned them. Do you got them ready, Renee? Remind me what it is. One of them is Weekend. If you like this, Edinburgh. Yeah, this is a really good Greek movie. It has Yorgos Lanthimos' girlfriend in it. I don't know if you know him, but the director of this movie is escaping me at the minute. But this is by a woman in Greece, and it's a weird Godardian kind of female friendship movie. I don't know what else to say about it. You know Yorgos Lanthimos. I don't know if you know the name, but he did The Lobster and the the one with the queens and stuff. Oh my gosh, I can't think. The one with Olivia Colman. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. You know him. You know his movies. He did Dogtooth.
I know Lobster. I
okay.
The other ones, yeah.
The Favorite. He did the favorite.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one with the bunnies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this film has him in it and like his girlfriend.
I was just trying to remember that movie the other day.
Yeah, I don't know. I just blank. But The Favorite. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Edinburgh is like this sort of. It's like, Edinburgh is probably from 2010 or something, but it's not exactly like a new wave kind of movie, but it's got this kind of weirdness in terms of the editing and the female presence. I don't know. The sort of the staging and physicality reminded me of it. And then my other one was we talked about earlier. It's a Godard movie, either before or after this one. Oh no, I didn't send you this. Weekend. If you like this Made in USA, people should check out Weekend because it has cannibals and without it being really gross. It's like one of his funnier movies. Anyway. I botched that. I don't think I sent her the image for that one. But yeah, there we go. And we figured out The Favorite on our own without Googling it. That was driving me nuts.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, you should see all of his movies. Alps is really good, and Dogtooth is upsetting but very good.
How upsetting?
I mean, it's a comedy in some ways, but well, I mean, you saw Lobster. It's that kind of stuff. Okay. There's some injuries and some incest and some like. I mean, he's like that. He likes to sort of be in your face.
Well, that's reality of life. I mean, there are 8 billion of us right now. When I was born in 1982. The world was 4.6 billion people. 4.6 billion people. Right so now, it's 8 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the reason I think that it all feels so crazy and overwhelming because we've doubled.
Yeah.
Like,
Why you have to try to make your world smaller and turn off the computer or something. I don't know. That's why I told you the other day I had to log out of Instagram because I was getting stressed out for no reason.
Yeah.
I posted a thing about, I said, hey, Jennifer Lynch, David Lynch's daughter, directed some episodes in that Dahmer show. It was just a thought I
Yeah.
learned, and I haven't seen the show, and all these people were fighting in the comments, and I had to delete it. And I was like, man, this is stressful. I was just saying who directed a show, and it turned into a thing. Like there was nothing controversial about what I said. It was just information. I was just like David Lynch's daughter, and so I was like, it gets stressful sometimes.
It sucks. It's the worst.
But you know, you can find people and promote your music and do stuff like
Well,
this.
it's a tool. It's a tool. But I think that we should all come to terms with the fact that it's not a representative of our personality. It is a marketing tool, and we are giving it its food. We are feeding the monster with our own content that we think is our personality, but it's not. It's content for a marketing machine. So as long as you just like kind of remember to remove yourself from the machine and not become one of those movies where the machine gets inside your brain. It's like literally doing that. So it sucks to I think you should start a newsletter better to give your opinions rather than on that, because I'm sorry you had to go through that. People can be very stressful.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I didn't take it personally. I just like saw friends of mine who don't know each other like getting their feelings hurt from other friends. I was like, dude, this is just about a show on TV. It's not really important.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
I just every once in a while have to log out so I don't even look at it all day, because like I will just like be sitting waiting on my food and just pull it out and be like, oh, let me see what everyone's doing. That's a good story. So I think we're leaving everybody with some good advice on the computer.
Well, this is
after you watch this, take a break.
Yeah, leave your comments in the bottom. Don't forget to follow.
Smash that like button.
Smash that shit.
I don't know if we have a like button. Well, thanks for coming on and telling everybody what they should do with their time. That was nice of you to tell everybody. I'm putting that burden on you. Julia, don't go on the internet, not me. I think it's good.
I'll take that. If anyone has any comments, you can find me on social media.
All
over my picture of my dog or something. Come on. People are horrible.
All right. I keep feeling like there's something else I need to say to end this to not make it weird. But this is what I do. I make things weird. Got any final thoughts? Oh, yeah, I have a book. Thanks, Renee. She helps me out. This is my book of short stories. If you think I'm funny when I'm just talking, you should read my stuff written down. It's hilarious. That's my play I did, and then a bunch of little short just jokes and stories and things.
Dude, awesome.
So, that's what I do now. I've taken a break from music because I'm tired. And I'm out of ideas. I feel like I almost made the same record twice, and so I stopped on it. And I was like, I'm going to write something instead. So
you should try hip hop with your son.
Yeah, I've talked about doing a trip hop. We had Zano Bathroom. I know you know Zano from Criminal Records. Me and him have kind of talked about collaborating, but yeah. All right. Well, Renee, you can end the show before this. Find a good spot. This is probably not the best place to end it.
What about your trip hop record? I think
I don't want to talk about that.
I think that's a pretty good one. You got to get yourself like a Jamiroquai hat.
Oh gosh,